Good morning. A warm welcome to each and everyone to our first IT class. It's me, your Gayatri ma'am. I'm very happy that this year also I am as part of your class. So once again, I am welcoming each and everyone to our first class. Hope all of you are ready for our first class. Okay. So the first chapter is Know Your Computer. The name of our first chapter, Know Your Computer. We are going to know about computer. Okay. So in the previous years, when you are getting a practical period, obviously you are doing your lab works. But have you thought that how this computer works? No. We are just doing our work, but we don't know how it works. So in this first class, we are going to discuss about the working of our computer. So once again, the chapter name is Know Your Computer. Here, I am going to discuss about the working model of computer. So let's start. In computer, there are 3 steps involved. The first one is input. The second one is processing, and the third one is output. So these are the 3 steps involved in computer. So this way the computer works. The first one is what? Input. From the name itself, it is very clear that what is the meaning of in? Inside. What is the meaning of out? Outside. So we are putting something inside, and what we are getting outside is known as output. That is the result. So this way the computer works. The first one is what? Input. Input means the data and instruction. In the case of a computer, when we are using the computer, we are the user. Who we are? User. We will be known as the user. So when a user is giving any instructions or data inside a computer, that means input. We are putting or we are giving input. Then after input, what happens? It will process. The input will be processed, or the data will be processed. And what is the last one? We will get our result, that is known as output. The third one is output. So once again, input, processing, output. These are the 3 steps involved in the working of a computer. So once again, input means the instructions. When we are giving some instruction, for an example, if I am giving you a question to add 2 plus 2. So I am saying you to add this 2 plus 2 using a computer. So this is the example. So what is the input here? Input is 2 plus 2. And what is the processing done? This is the processing. That means addition. Addition is the processing done here. And what will be the output? 4. So this way the computer works. Not in the case of computer. In every field, the 3 steps have done. For another example, if I am giving you a cloth and the thing I want to get is a shirt. So I am giving you a cloth and I want to get is a shirt. So what is the input here? Here the input will be cloth. Then what is the output here? Shirt. And what is the processing done? The tailor will stitch the cloth. Then stitching is the processing done here. So these are the 3 steps. I have given you a cloth, you have stitched this, and the result or the output is shirt. Another example, if I am giving you a pencil and I want to get a sharpened pencil. So what is the input here? Pencil. What is the processing done? Sharpening. And what is the output? A sharpened pencil. So this way in every field, these 3 steps are very important. So there are so many examples for input, processing and output. So here in the case of computer, the first step is input, the second step is processing and the third step is what? Output. These are the three steps. Now, in the case of computer, we use some devices for doing these activities. We use some devices for doing these activities. So when we are using a device for entering an input, if we are using a device or if you are using a device for entering an input, then it is known as input device. If you are using a device for entering or for making processing, then it is known as processing device. And at last, if you are using a device for getting an output, then it is known as output devices. So there are so many devices used for input, output, but only one device for processing. So I hope you understood up to here. Once again I will repeat. Now we have discussed the working of a computer. So there are three steps involved in the working. The first one is input, the second one is processing and the third one is output. Input means we are giving or we are entering into the computer. When we are entering into the computer, what have been done? Processing. Processing will be done. And at last what will come out or what result we will get, it is known as output. Once again, input means the data or instructions what we are entering. It is known as input. After entering the input, a processing or calculation or something will be done. It is known as processing, and after processing a result we will be getting. That result is known as output. So these are the three steps involved in a working of a computer. Hope all of you understood up to this. Okay, now in page number 2, in the first paragraph, it is clearly given about the working of a computer and also about input, processing and output. So just read this paragraph. Hope all of you understood the working of a computer. Now we will move to the next session. That is, I told you when we are using some devices for input, processing and output, it is known as input device, processing device and at last output device. Now we are going to discuss about these devices. Okay, so the first one is what? Input device. The next topic is input devices. This is the next topic we are going to discuss. So in the page number 2, not only in page number 2, from here we can see the name and the pictures of input devices. The first one is keyboard. The first or main input device used is keyboard. The second one is mouse. You can see the picture of mouse. Next, third one is joystick. Here the picture is given. Next one is light pen, trackball, touch screen, scanner, microphone, digital camera, web camera, graphics tablet, and the last one is barcode reader. These are the input devices we are going to discuss in this chapter. So there are so many devices. The first one is keyboard, mouse, trackball, joystick, scanner, light pen, so many other. First of all, what you want to do is you want to study the names of input devices. So you can read the names 2 or 3 times, then it will be clear for you. So there are not only 2 or 3 devices, so many devices are given in the textbook. So first you want to do is read the names of all input devices. So the first input device is keyboard. The first one we are going to discuss is about keyboard. Keyboard is the main or popular or widely used input device. In textbook, here it is clearly given the picture of keyboard. You can see the names of keys, not one or two. I will read for you. Now here you can see the picture of keyboard. It is clearly given in your textbook. So take your textbook and just look in your textbook. Here it is given the names of keys. So what do you mean by keys? Keys means when you are looking into the keyboard, you can see so many buttons. That buttons are known as keys. The buttons on the keyboard are known as keys. Now we can see so many keys here. Function keys, backspace key, delete key, numeric keypad, cursor control keys, enter key, alphabet keys, spacebar key, caps lock key, and the last one is number keys. So there are so many keys on the keyboard. Once again, function keys, backspace key, delete key, numeric keypad, cursor control keys, enter key, alphabet key, spacebar key, caps lock key, and the last one is number key. So these keys help us to work in a computer. All these keys are very useful for us, especially alphabet key, number key, spacebar key, everything, not only a single one. All keys are very helpful for the working of a computer. So our topic is about input devices. The first or the most popular used input device is keyboard. Keyboard is the most popular and widely used input devices. On the keyboard you can see so many buttons, and these buttons are known as keys. Then you can see here alphabets. So in the first row, first 6 letters Q, W, E, R, T, Y. Once again, Q, W, E, R, T, Y. That is known as the computer keyboards, which are commonly known as QWERTY keyboards. From the first 6 letter of the first row, it is very clearly given Q, W, E, R, T, Y. Then the commonly used keyboards are known as a name QWERTY. So keyboard is the most popular used input devices. You can see so many keys on the keyboard. That keys are having special or different names. These keys help us to work in a computer. So this is the first used input device. So we discussed about input device. Now we are going to discuss about the second input device, that is mouse. Mouse is the second device we are going to discuss. In page number 3, you can see the picture of a mouse. So mouse is a pointing device. Mouse is a pointing device, and this helps us to point objects or drawing pictures on the monitor. Mouse is a pointing device. It helps us to point objects. That means it helps us to select objects and also to draw pictures on the monitor. Now, mouse is having 2 buttons, left mouse button, right mouse button, and a scroll wheel. Once again, mouse is having 2 buttons, left mouse button and right mouse button, and also a scroll wheel in the middle. Now, as part of the technology, mouse is divided into 2. 2 types of mouse are the mechanical mouse and optical mouse. You can see the picture, you can see the difference also, mechanical mouse and optical mouse. Mechanical mouse and optical mouse. You can see the picture. You can find out some of the difference among these two. Yes, what is the difference? In the second picture, in the case of optical mouse, can you see a light? A beam of light? That is the difference. In the case of mechanical mouse, here a metal rubber ball will be in the middle. There will be a metal rubber ball. As part of the movement of mouse, it will also be moved. But in the case of optical mouse, no balls will be there, but we can see a beam of light. This is the difference between mechanical mouse and optical mouse. So once again, mouse is the second input device. It is a pointing device. The specialty of mouse is it is a pointing device. It is used to draw pictures and point or select objects on the monitor. It is having two buttons, left mouse button, right mouse button and a scroll wheel. And mouses of two types, mechanical mouse and optical mouse. So these are about mouse. Now we are going to discuss about the third input device, that is joystick. The third input device is joystick. In the same page you can see the picture of joystick. I know all of you have seen joystick because joystick is used for playing games on the computer. Joystick is used at the time of playing games on the computer. So normally in a simple joystick we have only one or two buttons, left button, right button and a trigger. But as advanced capabilities came, there are so many differences in the case of this picture and nowadays what we are using in the joystick. Okay, so we have discussed about the working of a computer at first. I told you that computer's working is according to three steps: input, processing and output. Once again, input, processing and output. The data and instruction what we are entering into the computer is known as input and the device used is known as input device. The second step is processing. After the data and instruction entered into the computer, the work done here is known as processing. And the last step, the result what we are getting is known as output, and the device that is used to show us that output is known as output device. These are the three steps and also we have discussed the examples. After that we have discussed about input devices. I told you there are so many input devices: keyboard, mouse, joystick, light pen, trackball, scanner, web camera, digital camera, so many. Now we have started the first most popular input device, that is keyboard. Keyboard is the most popular used input device. In the keyboard you can see so many buttons. That buttons are known as keys and it is having so many names also. Now the second input device is mouse. Mouse is a pointing device. It is used to draw picture or select objects on the monitor. It is of two types, mechanical mouse and optical mouse. And the third one is joystick. Joystick is used at the time of playing games on the computer. So these are the three input devices we have discussed in the first class. So children, you want to do is open your textbook page number 2 and 3. Read the working of a computer. Also the first three input devices I have discussed here. Read as many times as possible. Also you can look at the pictures of that devices. Hope all of you clear up to here. We have discussed the working of a computer and also three input devices. Now what you want to do is, in your notebook, write the chapter name and also you write working of a computer. write the 3 steps, that is heading is working of a computer, then write the 3 steps input, processing, output. Then you find out any 5 examples to suit the working of a computer. In that 5 examples, you want to mention what is input, what is processing, and what is output. This is the work you want to do. Once again, write the chapter name, heading working of a computer, then write the 3 steps just like this way itself. Then you want to write 5 examples and also mention which is the input, processing, and output. Hope all of you understood up to here. So now I am going to wind up. Thank you.